Good morning, class. I am Mr. Merzak. Coming off of Vinny's lesson, we are going to be continuing with our football unit. Last class, down um, creating turnovers, interceptions. Today, we are going to be working on defending space and defenders guarding receivers in one-on-one situations. So for our first game, we're going to be playing on, there's two fields available. We'll be outside, pretend we're outside. I have cones set up. It's going to be 30 by 20 yards. 3-on-3. Now, what I'm going to do first is hand out a sheet of paper with 3 different passing patterns on it to each student, and I will demonstrate each passing pattern. On the sheet, the passing patterns are going to be a hitch, a slant, and a streak. Now, I would go over, obviously, this hitch, 5 yards, come back, work your way back to the quarterback. Slant, 5 yards, cut into the middle of the field, and a streak would be straight down the field. On defense, you're going to be doing one-on-one coverage versus your receiver, and I want us to make sure we're giving them an inside shade. Now, we want to do this when we're first guarding them. We want to give them an inside shade because it'll make it harder on the quarterback to complete. It will make it harder on the receiver to get towards the middle of the field, and it'll make it harder and it's harder on the quarterback to complete a pass to the outside numbers. They have a good arm in order to make a play like that. Now, also, I'm going to tell the wide receivers to cover based on down and distance, and if you feel they are faster than you, or if you feel you are faster than them. So if you feel that they are faster than you, then I would say play off them about 5 yards, give them a little bit of a cushion. Don't get beat deep. If you feel that you're more athletic, you are faster than them, then you can play up in their face and give them press coverage. Still doing the inside shade regardless at all times. We want to make sure we're giving them that inside shade. Now, the person guarding the quarterback is going to be playing free safety. Now, at the free safety position, you are allowed to blitz the quarterback after a 5 count, but the objective of you, the goal of you is to just make sure you're staying back and you're making sure your other defenders that were guarding the receivers one-on-one don't get beat deep or anything like that. So you're just kind of a safety. You're free safety. Your last resort. Also, with the games on offense, as I said, it's 3-on-3. Make sure we're rotating the quarterback every single possession, regardless. Every single possession, I want to make sure somebody else is playing quarterback. That way, the person that's playing free safety has an opportunity to play one-on-one coverage as well too. So we want to make sure that we're rotating. As far as scoring, you get 1 point. You only get 1 point for this game if you score a touchdown. That's the only way you can get a point. You earn 1 point for scoring a touchdown. You get 4 possessions to score on the short field. You get a 5th one if the quarterback manages to complete 2 passes in a row of 5 yards or more. You'll get an extra down to try and score. So after I handed out all the passing trees, last thing I would do before I break them off is go over the safety of the game. I want to make sure we're playing only 2-hand touch. Shoes are tied, and we stay aware of our surroundings, and we're being honest about scoring as well. So then I'd break them off in their games of 3-on-3. Don't believe there's anything I'm forgetting off the top here. They would play for a little bit, and then I would bring them in, tell them to freeze, bring everybody in, make sure they still have their passing trees, or keep it on the side of their gym shorts, wherever, hanging on to it, maybe tossing it off the side before the play. And I would pose a question that goes based on the strategy of the lesson. The question I would pose to them is, I would ask them what the difference is between committing pass interference and not committing pass interference. What's good contact? What's not good contact? Should you be, hitting the receiver's arm before the ball gets to him? That would be pass interference. And also to think about situations. The down and distance. If it's the last play of their drive, it's their 5th play of their possession, and it's a really short distance for them to score. Do you want to play up in their face even though you feel they're faster than you, or do you want to play off them? You don't want to give them that free leverage to catch a wide open pass and score if they're only like 1 or 2 yards away. So just have them think about the situation, down and distance, based upon do a lot of strategy that goes into covering wide receivers in order to be successful. It's a very tough, difficult thing to do. I'd pose that question to them, and then some tactical questions I would pose to them. First one would be, should you play your receiver if you feel they are quicker than you? And as I already said, you should give them about 5 yards off. If they're faster than you, about 5 yards off to make up for not being fast enough. Another question I would pose is, when lining up to cover the wide receiver, where should you shade your body? And as I already said, inside shade. It'd make it tougher on the quarterback to complete passes, and it makes it's all around just more difficult on the offense when you got them playing outside the numbers, trying to complete passes all game. And then the next thing I would ask is, what is the job of the free safety when defending space? And the answer to that is nothing over the top. As I said, don't get beat deep. You're the last resort. No, you are the last resort. You got to make a play. If your receiver gets beat one-on-one, if somebody's faster on the offensive side than the person guarding them, you got to make plays. But as I said, the free safety in the game will get free roam. So after that, after I pose those questions, I would then have them line up. Well, they should already be lined up, and then I would break them off again into 3 groups of 4. Now, there's going to be one during this. I'm spread out away from the field. There's going to be one person from each group sitting out for a little bit of time. But what we're going to be doing is I'm going to give them, the students, an opportunity to kind of free roam and feel out what they feel comfortable with. So I'm going to let them decide what patterns they want to run, how they want to defend, how the defenders want to play defense. So there's going to be 3 groups of 4. There's going to be a quarterback, there's going to be 1 wide receiver, and then 1 defender, and then there's going to be 1 person sitting out. Now, the rotation would be quarterback to wide receiver to defender, and then defender off. So the person that comes off goes on, the person that was sitting off goes to quarterback, and we're going to rotate every single play. All you're going to do is just work on feeling out whether when the quarterback says go in your group, drop back, receivers, run whatever pattern they want. Now, before the play, make sure you tell the quarterback make sure you tell the quarterback what pattern you're going to be running. And defenders, it's open field. You can guard if you want to play up in their face, if you want to lay off them, if you want to give them inside shade, which I suggest you give them the inside shade still. You can do that. We will do this until everybody gets a chance about, I'd say, 3 or 4 times to play quarterback, go through the rotation about 3 times. Then I'd have them tell them to freeze again, and tell them to get back with their original teams that they were just playing with, except I would change who the opponent. And for the second game, now what I would do is a lot of the same parameters, 2-hand touch. Make sure you're giving them the inside shade, still 3-on-3, free safety. Now the only thing is different now is scoring. Now on defense, you can get you subtract on defense. Now you can get subtract 2 points from the offensive team score if you get an interception. So boom, you get an interception, take 2 points off of their score. And if you score, it's points. So it could be a 3-point swing real quick. That's the only thing that'll be different there is the scoring. Still a lot of the same. Make sure you're down in distance. You're being aware of how you want to cover your receiver. You want to play up on them. If you want to lay off them a little bit, it's completely based on your judgment. That's the only way you can learn. Still make sure we're rotating quarterbacks every single play, every single possession, excuse me. Also, the possession's still the same. You get 4, and on the 5th one, if you get 2 completions in a row, 5 yards or more, you get a 5th one. But everything else should be the same. So I'd break them off. I'd make sure that they change opponents, and I'd let them play for a little bit, see how things are going. still running those three main passing patterns on the tree. Make sure that, they still have their sheets and they're using those and they're showing the quarterback so everything's organized. Free safety's still allowed to blitz. Everything's still doing that. And then I'd let them play for a little bit. I'd tell them to freeze again. And then I'd bring it in and go over the closure questions. And the first one with an anticipated answer would be, how should you play your wide receiver if you feel they're quicker than you? About 5 yards off to make up for the speed. So you should play 5 yards off if you feel they are faster than you, at least 5 to 7, I would say. I'd probably tell them at the end of class. What is the job of the free safety when defending space? I would say, as I said, nothing over the top would be the anticipated answer for that one. And the last question I would pose to them after breaking them off for the second game, bringing them in, is when lining up to cover the wide receiver, where should you shade your body? And as I said, inside shade, giving them the outside, making it tougher on the quarterback to complete a pass to the outside numbers. And then I would tell them to hand in their passing tree sheets. And then that should be the class. I think I hit everything there. I hope everybody's staying safe and healthy. And thank you.